Hello and welcome to today's episode of Coast Life. I'm your host, Joey Zimmerman.
Then I'm your other host, Jonathan Banos.
So here at Coast Life, we have an intern-run show here at Pacific Coast Television in Pacifica, where we cover a lot of events going on, art, culture, things happening in the Pacifica, Half Moon Bay area that don't necessarily get a lot of coverage.
I think it's really cool that PCT actually does this stuff for local companies around here, local event holders, because it brings light to events that big mainstream media might not be showing all the time. And I think that's why it's important that we have public access television all the time like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially if you're having like your own, if you're having like a small business or anything, you want something to be covering, or like having a own festival you might not know about because it's just like not what the mainstream media will go for because it'll be like in San Francisco. So it's a lot of important to have things here, and we have with a lot of super interesting things happening here. So today we're going to cover 4 interesting things that have happened locally. So we're going to start off with the Dream Machine Car Festival. And we're also going to have the Tripp Distillery, and we're going to have the Taste of Pacifica and Musica Marin.
I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to show the people what we got to show tonight. I think it's pretty cool.
And if you're interested in having any of your local business or events or anything locally be covered by PCT, feel free to look us up at Pacific Coast Television. You can contact us and have things put on the air.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. I think it would just be it would be a disservice to everybody if they didn't get to show these cool things.
Yeah. Well, the Dream Machine, which we're going to start off with, is going to be a car festival. And I'm not the biggest car person, but I did have a Thunderbird growing up until it built it before I got licensed. So I appreciate cars, but I'm not a big car person.
Myself, I'm kind of a car person. I can hold a cool conversation about cars for about 2 minutes, and then that's pretty much it for me. That's my max.
Well, let's get some culture about cars and take a look.
All right, sweet. Let's do it. 3, 4.
Tell them what you're going to see. People come from all around. There's rocket cars, boats with giant motors, airplanes, everything here. This is probably my 19th year being here, and we bring a different vehicle every time. I've got a big garage. This is a 1954 Cushman Truckster, a really rare model of it. Most of them have cabs over. I did a lot of sheet metal and skirts and stuff on it, Cadillac lights, and rebuilt the motor. It's fun to drive. This is by far my favorite show of the year. We do about 40 shows, and we make this a little vacation. We come in on Friday and leave on Monday.
So what we have here is a 1939 DC-3. It originally, in 1939, was a C-41. There were only 2 of them made, and they were made for General Hap Arnold. So this airplane he personally flew, and it was his personal transportation. After the war, it was sold to Atlantic Richfield, and they turned it into an executive transport. Now, DC-3s of this vintage typically have between 60 and 90,000 hours on them. This airplane has 9,000, so it's considered brand new.
We belong to the Early Days Gas Engine and Tractor Association. Is nationwide. We're branch 3 in the Bay Area here. We've probably got, I don't know, 12, 15 guys out here today. We do this every year here, so it's a lot of guys in a variety of things. Some retired, some guys still working. We've got engines and tractors, and you go up and down the line here, you can see kind of a variety of things. This is what we do to amuse ourselves.
We're from Willits, California, and we rebuilt this machine last year, and this is our second show here. We're Roots of Motive Power. It's what we do for fun and to keep history alive.
It's not a hobby. Yeah. Right? It's a lifestyle. You know, people say, "Oh, it's a hobby." No, it's not a hobby. You know, it's a lifestyle. So you don't do this just as a hobby.
That was pretty cool, actually. I never expected to see like a big gathering. I'm sure they happen a lot, but I mean, those big gatherings of those cars that are in really, really good condition, it's actually really, really hard and like expensive to make a car look that nice like that and run super well. It's super interesting.
Honestly, seeing the plane threw me for such a loop. I was not expecting to see that. And honestly, like I said, I appreciate the old-time cars because my car, I named him Rusty because he breaks down all the time. And like the check engine light has been on permanently for a year. And so I don't know. Something's gone wrong there. But it's good to see that people are taking care of their cars and things like that. And like the plane was super nice to see too, especially because that has historical significance.
I know, right? The huge plane that they used commercially, and then all of a sudden they decide to just scale it down. That's super cool. I think that's so interesting. The outside looks so nice. What else was like? They had really cool live music too. It's kind of like one of those all-around events. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a cool event. And what we have happening next is they're going to cover the Tripp Distillery, which they make their own alcohol. He makes his own alcohol locally. But while these two things are very very cool and interesting, we here at PCT highly recommend and ensure safe driving. So do not drink and drive. Do separately. But when you're doing it separately, feel free to check out the Tripp Distillery, which we're going to check out. There's one man who covers it in his free time. It was a lot. He got the inside look about how he makes these alcohol, and it's local. So it looks pretty tasty, and I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm pretty excited for this. I don't know too much about how alcohol is made like that, but it's got to be a really skilled craft to do that, and it's one of those big scale of things that you have to be really, really ready to give love to. So let's go ahead. Let's check out this video.
We do two kinds of vodka, a red vodka and a silver vodka, and then we'll have absinthe. We'll try and have that out by the end of May, and tequila in the fall. So we're mixing it up. When I say we, it's just, this is not really a real business, as you can tell. It's just kind of a hobby. I do this on the weekends, so I come in and kind of watch a game, order pizza, have a few beers, and kind of do this. But the community seems to like us. A lot more and more people come out every week. And so far, we're in about, I think, 6 bars and 4 different stores. So there's, luckily, a lot of people are alcoholics. They gotta love that. We Actually create organic rum and then leave that in an open barrel for about a month to evaporate. Maybe about a foot will evaporate, and then we'll redistill it and then filter it through coconut shells for 4 days before we bottle it. So that's part of our retro tech, and the gin we make is also very retro tech. It changes color when exposed to ice, which is something gin has always done until recent years when they started putting it in factories, and then now it doesn't change color in ice anymore, but it used to. Naturally botanical oils in gin, a lot of citrus, a lot of juniper has oil in it, and at room temperature, you can't see the oil, but when ice hits it, it turns very cloudy, kind of like a Pernod or a lot of Greek and Mediterranean liqueurs. So it has that effect to it. I like the rum. It's 112 proof, so you can't go wrong with that. But it's also, has its own characteristic to it. It's made in a neutral French oak barrel that used to hold Malbec wine. So it has kind of more of the smokiness of the oak and the fruit from the rum. So it's, from the wine. So the rum is my favorite now, but once release it, I think tequila will probably be my favorite. The vodka takes an awful lot of time because of our old-timey low-tech methods. So I feel really good when we have some ready. We're bottling up a barrel of vodka today. So knowing that probably took me about between 90 and 100 days to make, as to where if I just had a big machine, it would take about 10 hours. Then that's really satisfying. I enjoy that. Plus, there's a lot of quality control through the process, so that's also part of the fun. Most of the local bars here in Sharp Park and Pacifica sell it. We're also for sale at Bitters and Bottles in South San Francisco, Hoffman's Wine and Spirits in Rockaway Beach, and the Vintage Wine Store in San Jose. So yeah, we're picking up a couple. It seems like a new place about every other week or so. It's really not rocket science. It's like a lot of things. You just got to put a little time into it. Kind of like playing a guitar, I think. And yeah, so it's maybe about 5 or 6 years in the backyard, and I also traveled. I went to a lot of distilleries, and I would pay them to do an internship so I could mop the floors and kind of learn from them. And probably put about 6 years of work and learning into it before I went ahead and bought Sally here. Fun to be here. I enjoy it, and I'm glad people come out. And but Pacifica is a great town, so it's one of the many fun things there are to do at Pacifica.
All right, welcome back after that video. That was the Tripp Distillery, Tripp with 2 Ps, and that was really interesting because I got to see how alcohol is made and how much effort he puts into making each and every single bottle, and that love is a special ingredient that he puts into everything.
Oh, most definitely. I think it's the most important part for these small businesses to put into all their drinks. And I'm not the biggest alcohol drinker, I just, pick up a bottle, and next thing you know, it's down the gullet. So it's cool to see the process behind it.
Yeah, and it's especially nice to see which ones are happening locally. So you know that you're not just buying into some big corporation, you're supporting someone here in the area, that you can get some quality tasting alcohol and you know where it came from and who it came from, which is like a special connection I didn't expect to have. But it's really cool to see into that. And especially because I am a hard alcohol consumer. It's definitely thirsty. So it's fun to see like where it comes from and how all of that. And if you have not been to the Tripp Distillery yet, you trippin'.
Next point that we're going to be talking about is going to be Taste of Pacifica. Taste of Pacifica is a super cool event where it's almost like a farmer's market, Cool little event. Everybody comes and pitches in some food, and it puts an exposure out for small companies to go show their food and give real taste tests too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super awesome. It's usually got a bunch of tasty food happening here in Pacifica, and a lot of local restaurants and markets are giving out like everything. So it's really cool to see it because it's not just like a farmer's market. It is like a farmer's market you said, but it's also like there are restaurants happening, so you know where to eat. It's not just a one-time thing. You can actually go and experience.
Yeah, exactly. And they have good food. I did cut you off right there. They have good food, probably some good drinks, and it's pretty cool.
All right, yeah. Well, let's go get a taste of Pacifica with a taste of Pacifica.
Another banger.
Buck's Vineyard is the name. The Buck is our dog, so we named it after a dog that's no longer with us. So everything's meant to be kind of whimsical and fun. We have 3 flavors. We have horseradish, chili, and regular mild. The mild are called Pookie's Pickles, named after my daughter. The chili pickles are named Cole's Chili Cukes after my son. And then the horseradish pickle are named Deb's Holy Horseradish after a woman who passed away who was a good customer of ours. So we decided to honor her with naming the pickles after her.
It's a community feel with a lot of restaurants and retail stores that you know, we're able to feature and kind of bring the community together.
"27 years in Pacifica, and every time you pass by it, and if your mouth does not water, you're not taking a breath deep enough. This food, it delivers. Just as good as it looks, it tastes, and as good as it smells, it tastes."
It's really nice to showcase what Pacifica has to offer all in one place. It's the best time of the year for a lot of the people here in Pacifica.
Thank you for the whole Pacifica customers supporting us for the whole time. Thank you.
He gives back to the community a ton. I mean, he's always doing stuff for the kids, but his pizza's amazing. But his rice balls is what he's known for.
I like so many different restaurants here. I like the El Grano de Oro over there. That's one of my favorites. Nick's is in there with their crab sandwiches. That's a classic. Everything here is so good. It's just all like Pacifica's favorite restaurants coming together, and all the food's so delicious.
And taste all the different food at the end. That's the best part.
you, but kind of hungry after that. That was kind of hard to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially because I have not eaten dinner today. I am super starving, and like I might have to go to one of those restaurants myself and just check it out because like that food is so good.
I know. Go put in like a special order somewhere to get some food because that looks so good. And you could get some wine. You can get some free listen to some free music, and I mean that sounds like a good time. It sounds like an event that I would probably spend too much money at.
Same. But you know what would go well with it? We get our alcohol from the Tripp Distillery and our food from the Taste of Pacifica.
Oh.
So we can match them up.
Yeah.
And give them all together.
I mean, you get some free music, you get a nice big plate of food, and then you could just get a nice, little glass of wine.
More like a bottle of wine, but it's fine. Yeah,
I didn't say it, but I agree. And you just have a good time. Like spend some time with some people, it's probably a good thing. And I don't know about you, but like once I have a little food in my stomach, a little wine in my stomach, especially those bottles, I kind of get into singing.
Oh, you get into singing? Are you a karaoke kind of person?
It's one of those things I never wanted to put out there, but with you, Joey, I will let you know.
All right, well, Mamma Mia 2 is out now, so I'll let you sing along some ABBA. But something that keeps the arts alive and singing in the area is Musica Marin, where they are keeping the arts alive for all ages, and there's some singing involved, some poetry, some live music. And I haven't seen very many live music recently, so it's nice to know they're keeping it alive in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super cool that it has these traditional styles of art through music, and I don't know, I find it super cool.
All right,
super
well,
interesting.
let's go see what notes they leave.
The event today is a music festival or a music concert bringing in a bunch of international artists. It is a premiere of a baritone from Germany who was incidentally awesome. He was really terrific. And then we are also doing, I think it's Schumann's Quintet. And it is an organization that has been founded by Ruth Kahn and her fine husband or partner, who is the chef, and they come in small homes and they put together concerts, music, and wine for an intimate group of people.
We put on these concerts and raise money to provide youth access to the arts that don't have the funds available.
When I started working on them, I was already in love with the poems before I knew what kind of music King would write, because they have a great depth to them. I think they are someone had asked me at some point what I think that makes them special, and I think that that art in general can really work on different levels. It can just be aesthetically pleasing, it can be really emotionally beguiling, or it can really be intellectually challenging. And I think these poems really check all of these boxes. They have a beauty to them just through the use of language, but they're also very deep and thoughtful. And when I heard the music that Clint had written for the first time, I thought that this is really the perfect complement, because it's he takes these qualities and adds his own artistry to it, and in my feeling, just doubles down on the emotional depth of the songs. So I couldn't be happier.
I mean, the poems are really intimidating to set to music, and I was worried I was not going to be able to give the poems, justice, do the poems justice, and the fact that everyone enjoys the songs, I felt a little sense of relief. It was commissioned by Michael Cabruno, and it was written specifically for Malta. And they came to me with the poems already chosen, and the poems are about birds, and the poetry is by Wendell Berry. And Wendell Berry just wrote all these beautiful poems about birds, so I researched the bird that Wendell Berry listened to, because he did some sort of article, and I wanted to get, because the first few songs are about birds, but they're not very which specific bird. So I wanted to see which bird he was talking about, and then that bird call created the musical ideas for the cycle.
We get to hear this great music up close. We call it a front row seat and a backstage pass, as a matter of fact.
All right, and that was Musica Marin. It's so nice to see that they're keeping the arts alive for people of all ages and in the area. Because, like I said earlier, I have not seen a lot of live music recently.
I would say that whole clip was just music to my ears.
All right. Well, you're pushing it a little bit. Well, that's it for today's episode of Coast Live. We'd like to thank you guys for watching into Season 8, and we're going to be your hosts for the rest of the season. And if you, like we said earlier, if you have anything you'd like to be covered for in PCT, feel free to message Pacific Coast Television with any inquiries or anything for us to come cover you, because it's going to be an interesting season.
We happen to just be... we're hosts for our first time of this show and just in general, and PCT is actually really cool and gives us this opportunity to come and try it out. Hosting was not as easy as we thought it would be, but if you want to try it out ever, definitely check out PCT. Come do workshops, come do whatever you want to do with broadcasting. We got it for you.
All right. Well, until next time, I'm Joey Zimmerman.
And I'm Joey Zimmerman.
Wait, what?
And you all have a good night. Thank you very much. You're all beautiful.
Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.